So don't say anything you don't want to say, Wendy, okay?
Well, that's a problem I have.
How's the weather there?
It's so muggy today. It's really gross outside. It's not fun,
You
but
guys already have humidity there?
it's really, it kind of rained this weekend, so it's bad. It's real bad out there today.
Huh. All right.
I'm
So we'll
not
get started
complaining
here.
though. At least it's not snow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
It's
dad,
snowed the other day.
my dad's at home and he's in Minnesota and he's really bored and he basically was watching the snow melt. So
Oh, yeah. I've had enough. I've had enough with the snow already. I'm from, because I'm from California in up north in Chico, and we never had snow. It was always kind of warm and nice. And then, I mean, I love it here. It's great, but it's definitely,
I know.
yeah.
I feel bad for California people. I just feel bad because where do you go from there?
Oh,
I'm from Fargo, so every day is a great day.
you betcha.
You betcha.
So you have North Dakota and Minnesota.
Well, I'm from Moorhead, which is the twin city of Fargo. So I tell people I'm from Fargo, but I really grew up in Minnesota, but it's the same community. It's just nobody's ever heard of Moorhead,
Right. Yeah, I it's amazing though, the people that are from Minnesota, like how much they love it.
Oh yeah, they would, most people would never move. They're like, they're like, it's too hot everywhere else. And people are really tough there. I mean, they're really tough.
Oh, I remember when I went there, it was,
It'd be so
I think it
old.
was like minus 15 or something.
Oh yeah.
And there was like people just walking around in a t-shirt and jeans.
I know. It's like minus 65 with the wind chill sometimes.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, North Dakota is not much better.
North Dakota is so flat. Like at least you guys there, you have mountains and stuff to block it. So
yeah, we'll have to get you out here.
Yeah. Someday.
All right. Want to get started?
Sure.
Let's get started. All right, Wendy, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Region here.
What's that?
We have the Utah region all on, so we're all.
Oh, I know. Hi, guys.
Yeah,
Glad
so they're all super stoked about you being on. So we'll have people, I'm sure, jumping on from time to time. So why don't you go ahead? I know a lot of people know you and everything, but why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about you, and we'll go from there.
Sure. Well, my name is Wendy Papasan, and I run a real estate team here in Austin, Texas. We have a few locations in Dallas, Houston, and Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I guess I've been in business about 11 years now. I started my business in the fourth quarter of 2009, which arguably was the worst time in the world to start real estate. So I kind of started my business in a shift, and I'm just excited to be here and happy to share and mastermind with you guys.
That's awesome. And I think you have a husband that other people probably have heard of before too, right?
So I have a pretty famous husband. His name is Jay Papasan, and he's written several best-selling books with Gary Keller and has been Gary's business partner for, I think he's going to celebrate his 20-year anniversary this fall at Keller Williams.
That's super cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So how's your business going right now?
So we've definitely seen a slowdown. We've been quarantined for, 25 plus days now. And we did have a total shutdown about a week ago when the mayor of Austin decided to completely shut down all showings in Travis County. And so that kind of ground everything to a halt. But I would say we're probably, we're gonna have a really good April, and then May is not looking so great. So we're probably about, I would say probably at 40% of where we should be in April. It's slowed down quite a bit here.
Yeah. So I know that you're doing some different things with your team, obviously, on how things are changing and how you're lead generating and running the different things within your organization. And I know that you had a little PowerPoint thing to go through. So you want to start that, and then we'll dig deeper into stuff and go from there.
Sure. Yeah. Well, let me share my screen here. And here we go.
I was hoping you'd have some of that pizza that I could just see.
Well, you want me to run to the fridge and grab you a slice? No problem. It's just really good pizza. And so everybody in the family each only got 5 pieces. And so my daughter, who's very, I don't know, she doesn't like to eat that much. She's still got like a couple slices in there. And we've all basically offered her money for them. It's such a good pizza. So
Yeah, because you were telling me that they have like, they're different. They're from Detroit, from Ford.
Detroit, yeah, Detroit style pizza. Yeah, so it's like the square deep dish pizza. It's really good.
That's awesome. All
Yeah.
right, go for it.
Yeah. Well, so the conversation that I'm having with my team right now, and there's about 16 of us, and we are meeting daily for about an hour every morning just to kind of get our mindset right, and then we're getting on the phone and just reaching out to people for about a couple hours, just doing our lead gen together. But the thing that I've told my team is that I really want you guys to think about this as a marathon and not a sprint. I think at first everybody was just really kind of feeling frenetic and moving a lot, and there was a lot of chaos. And the reality is what we're going through is going to be a marathon, because not only are we going to have to keep our mental energy up now while things are slow and kind of boring, when the market does come back, and it will come back, it's some people might have their business doubled, and so we need to like maintain our energy through the slow time, but then also we have to be ready to go when the business comes back. We can't be fat and lazy when that happens. And so I love this quote by Gary Keller, and he really talks about the morning routine. And this is something that Gary's lived his life by. Obviously, he's very successful. He's a billionaire. And it's really just that, like, the productive person's personal energy plan. And he says, when you spend the early hours energizing yourself, you get pulled through the rest of the day with little additional effort. You're not focused on having a perfect day all day. You're focused on having an energized start to each day. If you can have a highly productive day until noon, the rest of the day easily falls into place. And this is what he says, when life is normal. And this is really, what I've been trying to do, really, every day since this started. Because the reality is, some days I'm not working 8 hours. It's a tremendous amount of mental energy I'm having to pour into my team. I'm, coming up with content every day. It's just a lot of energy. And so I'm really focused on having a really good morning every single morning. And here's what that looks like. And this is taken right from the One Thing. There's also a version in the MREA. And this is what Gary says: the productive person's daily energy plan: meditate and pray for spiritual energy first thing in the morning, eat right, exercise, and get enough sleep for physical energy. And sleep is really important now. One of the things we talked about with my team this week was really the importance of just really getting a lot of sleep, because a lot of people have anxiety. They're waking up in the middle of the night. So whatever you can do to get enough sleep, and that doesn't mean drinking 3 glasses of wine before bed, because that's not going to help your sleep over the long haul. It might help you fall asleep, but it's not going to be ultimately good for you. So hug, kiss, and laugh with your loved ones for emotional energy. And I know there are people that are out there that are listening right now who are living alone. And so you need to work a lot harder with that. If you're not living with people, then you need to reach out to your loved ones through Zoom or whatever that looks like, to get that emotional energy. Maybe it's your real estate office, maybe it's some of your clients. And then you need to set goals, plan, and calendar for mental energy. So even if you feel like you don't have a lot to do during the day, you still need to set your goals for the day, whatever that looks like. And then you need to time block your one thing for business energy, because the reality is, guys, your one thing is still your one thing. You don't get to take your one thing off. Your one thing is actually more important than ever, and it's actually easier than ever. I'm finding that it's super easy to connect with people, reach out. Everyone's looking for someone to connect with right now, and you guys are leaders. So if you think about the DISC personality, most of you are probably familiar with the DISC. 70% of the world is a high S. 70%. Right? That's a lot of people. And a high S's signature trait is they do not like change. right? So
Right.
70% of the world is really suffering right now because this is a lot of change. And you guys as realtors, you probably have a certain amount of D, you have a certain amount of I, and those are leadership qualities. And so you need to be a leader in your community, in your family, in your organization, whatever it looks like. You need to be the one to rally your neighbors and take control and reach out to people, because a lot of people are really scared and suffering right now. And you as a leader need to do something about that.
Yeah, and we talked about that yesterday. We had the miracle morning we've been doing in our market center, and we were talking about that. As leaders, it's our job to stay in the best shape we can be. We have to be physically ready. We have to be the ones, because everybody's relying on us now, and we need whoever. We're leaders in every place in where we are, and we just have to show up. So before we move on to this one, so what does your morning look like?
So I usually get up around 5 still. I mean, 5:30 now, because our trainer used to come at 5:30 and now she comes virtually at 6. And so we typically work out 3 days a week with the trainer, and we're still doing our same workout, cardio, weights, fitness, everything, stretching for an hour. And then after that, typically I'm reading the newspaper a lot lately, reading my newspaper, sometimes my book if it's an off day. And then I sit down and have breakfast with my kids. So we're all sitting here. I used to drive my kids to school, and now I don't have to do that. So I get to, I don't know, futz around on social media a little bit more. And then I have a phone call with my assistant at 8:30. And then we do our team huddle at 9 o'clock. And that's lasting anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, depending on what we're talking about. And then after that, I go right into lead gen.
Cool. Do you hug people also?
Yeah, I try to. Yeah. On the days my family's not driving me bananas.
Well, if they're not driving you bananas every day, you're not doing something right.
All right. We're
All
doing
right.
what we can over here. I have 2 teenagers, so.
Cool.
Yeah.
But so I love this control thing. I love
Yeah.
that Ben
This is
Kinney
so
talking about.
simple. You can only control what you can control,
Yeah.
right? And so that's why the morning routine is really important, because if you can nail your morning and then give yourself permission to do whatever you want to do the rest of the day, go out, go for a walk in nature, whatever you need to do to kind of calm yourself. Or maybe you've got kids at home that you're schooling, right? Nail your morning. Hopefully your kids are nailing the morning too, and then you're done for the day. So controlling that morning is just really super important. And so just control your activities, right? We can make progress with whatever we're doing every single day. We don't know what's going to happen. Like, the reality is what is happening now is no different than any other time. Like, we never know if we're going to live another day. Right. We really don't. We don't know if our friends or our family are going to die. And that's a terrible thing to say, but that's the reality of it. So it's really no different, and we can't control any of it. All we can control is what goes on right here. So.
Right. Yeah. And it's amazing when you really are aware of it, the things that will sneak in, right? They just, and I love Jim Rohn always says is that what makes us special is that we have choice, right? As humans, we can choose. It's like, the Canadian geese, when it's winter, they can only fly south. And when it's summer, they can only fly north. Yeah. They don't have any choice. But us as human beings, we can make the decision of where we want to go and, choose being great. That's what I believe.
And that's really all we get, literally the choices that we're making right now in this moment, the choice that you guys made to get on here and listen to me is literally shaping your future. The choices you're making today are literally shaping what happens to you in the future. And the things that you're doing right now are going to shape your business in 30, 60, 90, 120 days, whatever it looks like. Next spring is probably going to be the best spring of your life if you do what you're supposed to do right now. But if you sit back and you're watching Netflix all day and just really kind of sinking and not doing your job, then you are literally choosing to have a lousy fall, a lousy spring, whatever that looks like. And I'm not saying to go crazy. I think right now your mental health is the most important thing. And yet all of you who are in real estate probably have a bit of extra time than you did before. And so use it wisely.
And I was coaching somebody today and I said, winter was the past 3 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're moving into spring and planting. We have got to start putting the seeds in the ground because summer will arrive. I don't know when summer is going to arrive, but we have got to be seriously planting seeds and out there working right now.
Yeah, and we also owe it to our communities as leaders, right? We really do. We really owe it to everyone. I'm just reaching out to people I haven't talked to in forever, and it's been completely awesome,
Yeah,
right?
tell them about your text.
Yeah, so I have well, I think it's in here actually. Yeah, there it is. Funny you should ask, Joe.
Thank you.
So I'm trying to reach out. My goal is actually 50, but whatever your life looks like, try to reach out to 20 people a day. And that's really just through text messaging. You can create a really easy shortcut on your phone. So I know there's a way to do this on Android, but I only know how to do it on the iPhone. So if you go into settings and then you go to,
I think it's keyboard.
Oh, it's general first.
General,
Settings,
yeah.
general, and then you go to keyboard, and then you hit text replacement, and it's really great because you can just go to the top here. I don't know if you can see this, but you just hit this plus sign and you put your phrase in there. So here's my phrase: hi, whatever, blank. Thinking of you today, how are you holding up? And then you put your shortcut in there, and the shortcut should be probably a letter and a number, because you don't want the shortcut to be like AN, because every time you type the word and, it'll put the shortcut in there.
Right.
And that just makes it super easy. So just commit to doing 20 of those a day, reaching out to 20 people. And I found that about 40% of the people I'm texting respond right away. Another 30% respond like later in the afternoon or even the following day, and then about 30% of the people just aren't responding. They're probably like, who are you? I'm texting people I haven't heard from in a long time, so they're probably like, why is she texting me? And that's completely fine. That's completely fine.
Yeah, it's a great touch. So you're going to put the letter and the number and name it, and then in where you're typing the message, you'll put in whatever letter and number you did, and it automatically fills in down at the bottom. You'll see it pops up, and you can hit it, and you can just fly through it and do them. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's super easy.
Awesome. Great.
Yeah. All right. So sorry, my son's here getting some ice.
Oh, no worries. That's important.
Yes, it is. How's it going, guys? So the other thing I wanted to tell you guys about, if you're not clued in, is there's an amazing Facebook group. It's the Pivot Shift Ahead Facebook group. I think there's like over 50,000 people in it right now. And it's just got great scripts. It's got great ideas. And I would just encourage everyone to just take a little while. It can feel overwhelming because there's a lot of ideas coming at you all at once, but just sift through it with the idea that you might find one or two things that you might try. And the reality is that most of us out there who are doing stuff virtually now, we're just spitballing, we're just throwing stuff on the wall to see what sticks. And a lot of times we're not getting it right. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. Really what you're doing is you're trying to get mind share with your communities and showing them, hey, I'm doing stuff differently. I'm pivoting. I'm different than the other realtors out there. And so this is just a really good place to get some ideas.
Yeah, and I love that everybody's welcome to go on also. It's not a private group.
Yeah, it's not KW. It is run by KW, but anybody can get on there. And I would really recommend telling your friends that aren't tell your friends that are with KW, but then tell the ones that aren't with KW about it too, because a lot of brokerages, they're not doing a whole lot right now to help their agents out. And so it's just a great resource for everyone.
Yeah, it's really great.
Yeah. And then KW Connect, of course, is also awesome. It's got tons of content on a daily basis. It was pretty amazing to watch Keller Williams put out 30 hours of content that first week when it all was kind of crashing and burning. Yeah. And it's all saved on there. So if you're looking to cut expenses, it's on there. You're looking for morning motivation, get on there. I mean, really, guys, just plug in. It's the best thing that you can do is just plug in, because it's easy to, get lost on YouTube and watch a bunch of dumb stuff, but, why not learn something? today and get motivated, right? Because everybody's in the same boat.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's great content on there. I mean, there's actually more content on there than you're going to be able to get through, to be honest.
Again, you want to pick and choose, right? You probably don't want to. I personally could not watch KW Connect for 8 hours straight, but pick and choose. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I would agree. It's just anything you need and anything you want is definitely found on KW Connect. So whoever's not using it, jump on there and get involved.
Well, and if you haven't migrated to Command yet, I would highly recommend doing that too. That's definitely something that's been on our team's action plan for a little bit later this year, because it's not 100% set up for big teams, but for those of you that are running smaller teams or our individual agents, I mean, Command is amazing, and it's just a great time to dig in, figure out how it works. We've been doing some of the Facebook ads and getting really and seeing good success from it. So we've just been doing it for 2 weeks. We've gotten over like about 50 leads, about $4 a lead is what we're paying.
Okay.
And so far we've set 2 appointments. So that's about $100 an appointment for us.
That's not bad.
So yeah, I mean, if it turns into a closing, $100 turns into $10,000. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and we've been having like around $1.25 a lead.
That's great. Yeah. It might be just a little bit more expensive because we're in Austin, or I don't know, maybe we're not. Maybe I need to figure out what you're doing.
Yeah. Well,
but I've heard under $2 in a lot of places.
Yeah, it's around that, but just really pounding on the listings and getting those out and just looking for buyers. I mean, that's where we're getting most of our luck from.
Yep. That's what we're doing too. Just getting those listings, promoting those listings. And if you don't have any listings, ask a friend if you can promote one of theirs. Why not? Bring a buyer.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. So this is just, this is kind of a mindset thing, which is really, I'm just, the people most responsive to change are the ones most likely to survive and thrive. So don't wait. If you're going to make a move, definitely start to change and pivot right now. This quote is from Shift. Actually, it says the most successful people are those who are good at Plan B. So we're definitely in Plan B right now.
Yeah, I was watching this Zoom call yesterday with the GoBundance group, and they had a billionaire on there yesterday, and he said, people have to understand that the best time for entrepreneurs to do something and make a move is during chaos and during that kind of thing. So stop thinking of this as a bad time, because it's not. What this means is there's major amounts of opportunity for us, and the people who are going to survive are the ones who are ready for the Plan B and who can find all of the different things that are out there where they can capitalize on those things.
Yep, it's really true. Yeah, it's really true. And and the reality is with any opportunity there's risk, right?
Sure.
And there's really no opportunity without risk.
Yeah, and have you ever failed before? Yes,
I'm quite good at failing. Yeah. Well, and luckily I don't, I know some people have, they suffer from perfectionism, and thankfully I don't suffer from that. Although sometimes I wish I did. But I'm definitely okay with just like throwing stuff on the wall and seeing what sticks. So.
Yeah, but I'm sure you surround yourself with people who do have some perfectionism in your world.
I do, yeah. I mean, my husband has quite a bit of it, and my daughter is very much a perfectionist. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, we're a good duo, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other thing I want to chat about today is if you guys haven't thought about cutting your expenses, then that's something you really need to think about right now, because you can't really revenue your way out of a shift. And Jay was telling me that in the downturn, the very worst year of real estate, we were about 30% below like normal closings. So the amount of homes that were bought and sold was down 30%, which is a lot. Yeah. But in a lot of markets, the number of real estate agents dropped by more than 50%. Right. And so what that means is if you can cut your expenses and be thrifty and hang on, right, until the shift is over, there's going to be less deals along the way, but your folks from other brokerages are going to start dropping like flies, and they're never going to get back in that business, and you're going to be able to take all their business away because they're just simply not there anymore. So it's just a fact. And if you can double down on your lead gen or just continue to do your lead gen, put the pedal to the metal, then you're actually going to be able to take market share. And all the studies show is that people who take market share in a shift, they never give it up. Right. They get to keep it forever.
Yep.
And Keller Williams is actually a great example of that. So before the last shift, they were number 4 in the world in terms of agent count. And by the time the shift was over, they were number 1.
Yep.
It just gives me chills to think about it, you know?
Yeah.
And I see these guys blowing and going. I mean, they are working so hard for you right now. You know, Jay's putting in 12 plus hours, and his whole team is right now, so that you have the opportunity to take market share, because Gary wants that for you.
Right. And we're just so blessed to be, I mean, with this company and our technology and how they took a big risk and chance on putting together these things with such forethought of what we were going to be through, that now when you look at it, our competition, they don't have any money to put into technology. I mean, because I remember Gary at family reunion when they said, you know, you need to get on and use the technology now, because for every day we're not using it, our competition is catching up to us. Well, now I mean, we still have to use our technology and really use it and put it in, but there's not going to be that money that's being put into these companies anymore. And I don't know where they're going to get this money to build this tech platform.
Yeah, well, Redfin just laid off 41% of their agents. Compass laid off 15% of their people.
Yeah, I just got a text that EXP just let go of 15% of their staff.
Yeah, there you go. Well, and you know, in arguably the worst recession of our day, Keller Williams didn't lay off a single person.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, and you know, with Realogy stock, it's below $3 a share. I mean, it's just, and they're $2.7 billion in debt. So, you know, I mean, we're with a company that has the greatest technology and has no debt.
It's amazing. I know.
Yeah. It really, really is amazing.
Yep.
So what else we got?
So cut your expenses. That's Sam Walton. Yeah, and if you haven't cut your expenses, just think about what you can do in the next 48 hours. So these are the expenses that you're not even using. I'll give you a tip. Go again to your phone, hit your app store button, and then there's a little button up here in the top right-hand corner. It should have a picture of you on it, and you can hit subscriptions, right? You can see how many subscriptions you got on your phone. I saw somebody was spending over $1,000 a year just on their app subscriptions. So that's an easy way. Yeah, it's crazy.
Holy cow.
I know.
What the heck are they getting?
We took a picture of it. It was insane. I mean, it was these things. But I mean, even if you save $100, $150, I mean, what the heck, you know, or $5, it's all money that you're not using. And then the next thing I would do after you check your app subscriptions is print out 3 months of your credit card statements, both personal and professional, and then 3 months of your bank statement, and just take your highlighter out and go through the things that you don't even need anymore. I can guarantee you that in both your personal and your professional, there are things in there for most of you that you simply do not need. Go through it and just cancel them. And you're gonna do that in the next 48 hours, right? And then your B expenses are really those things you're gonna cut if you really need them. So those are the things you're gonna cut in the next week. You know, it's probably, you know, maybe you don't need to put money into your vacation fund anymore because you didn't take a vacation this year, right? You've already got that money saved. Yeah. And then your C expenses are, you know, really depending on the market. And then I would also say that if you've got expenses that are generating revenue, you do not want to cut those, especially if they're giving you a minimum of a 4-to-1 return. So obviously if you're farming a neighborhood and it's successful for you, if you're doing Facebook ads, internet leads, whatever you're doing, you want to keep doing those things, because you also don't want to look up in September and have absolutely no business because you didn't do it. You stopped all your lead gen. So as long as it's getting a 4-to-1 return, I think that's good.
And really, I mean, if agents out there are not in command right now, they have got to get rid of this bolt-on technology. And now is the time. I know it was a little rough there for a while, but you can really do some strong things in command right now. It is time to migrate into command now.
Yeah, and the Facebook ads are super simple. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
they are.
really,
I mean, I can do it.
yeah, I know. That's what I was just going to say that I can do. So, yeah. So then just look at any costs that you have. You might say, maybe I can move this to a variable cost instead of a fixed expense. Maybe you can push it off into the future. Maybe you can say to someone, hey, I'm going to pay you over the next 5 months instead of in a lump sum. Just get just get clever, especially if you guys are, if you got a mega agent office or something like that, talk to your landlord about rent.
Cool.
Um, you might be able to barter something. So just be clever as far as that goes. And then you might be able to renegotiate some of your terms with some of your vendors. So your vendors are small businesses too. So you want to be careful of that. And you may be able to call some of these small business vendors you've got and just renegotiate them, or just say, hey, can you push this to the fall or something like that, just so you can cut expenses now. And then we've been doing some virtual listing stuff. So if you guys don't have a virtual listing appointment, like we've just done one in Google Slides, and you can get on Zoom and you can share it with your clients. We are doing, you guys probably know about these Matterport tours, but this is all like embedded into our listing appointment now. And these are just super cool. So you can just really see the whole house and go up the stairs.
Wendy, how long have you been doing these? Did you just start? Or?
We just started. I mean, I'd heard about it, but we didn't really need it. We sell things really quickly, but as soon as all this pandemic hit, I just went and I got these for all of our listings. So they're kind of pricey, but
well, it also helps you as an agent to be able to protect your listing clients by, have you look through the virtual tour? How long have you been working with these clients? Are they pre-qualified? Have they been writing offers on other homes? What's going on? So you can limit the amount of people that are going through your listings.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this really helps a lot. And then we are doing, virtual staging. So we're not really doing staging anymore unless the house is, vacant.
What's the company you're using?
It's called Box Brownie. So I'll show you guys. This is virtual staging. It's pretty awesome. It's like $32, to do that.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, that's really gone down in price too, because it used to be a lot more.
Yeah.
And then you can send them your Matterport if you wanted to, couldn't you? And they do stuff with that also?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep. So that's pretty cool. And then we're doing virtual open houses. And if anybody wants, we created a playbook. I have a link kind of at the end of this presentation. You guys can shoot me you can go on that landing page and send me your email and I'll send it to you. But again, we're just making this up as we go along.
Wendy, if you want to send the link to me, and then I can forward it on to Jordan, and because he has everybody's email address from registering.
Perfect.
You just send it out to them.
That sounds great. So we're just doing virtual listings. We're using a Facebook Watch Party. The first one we did, it was pretty awesome. We did 2 open houses in less than an hour, including drive time. And by the end of the day, we had about 1,300 views on it. And I thought, gosh, back in the old days, we'd spend an hour putting the signs out, 3 hours at the open house, and then an hour pulling the signs in. And we'd maybe we'd be thrilled if we got 10 people through.
Yeah.
And so what's great is I've told my team, hey, guess what? Now we have options for our sellers. The sellers don't want to be out of their house for 5 hours on a Sunday either. So now we can say to them, hey, do you want to do the old fashioned open house or do you want to do the virtual open house? Virtual open house takes about 15 minutes.
Now, how are you lead capturing that?
What's that?
How are you lead capturing off of your virtual?
Yes. Well, so we are kind of figuring that out. One thing is you can do a Facebook Watch Party live, which I do not recommend, although that's what we did originally. Or you can load up the video onto Facebook and you can host a watch party. And while people are commenting, you can engage with them and see if they're buyers or just looky-loos or whatever. The other thing that we're going to do is we've created some signs, like just like signs for the yard, not like a listing sign, but like a little bit smaller sign that says text open house to this number, and then that goes to and it says virtual open house, and it goes to a landing page. They enter in their information, and then it tells them about all the virtual houses we're having all over the city.
That's a good idea.
It's just an idea, and we have the back end all done, and we're about to order the signs, but we haven't implemented it, and it might be a big bust. I mean,
yeah, I'd love to follow up with you and see how that goes.
Yeah, we're just trying it, and it's not really that expensive. It's just a little bit of kind of futzing on the back end, and it's not like we have 5,000 listings, so we'll just do 15 signs, and we'll see what happens.
Cool. Yeah, that's a great idea. I like that idea.
Yeah, we'll see. So we already talked about this a little bit, but definitely if you guys aren't into Command yet, doing the Facebook ads, I would highly recommend it. You can see how that looks with all of our active listings, and then kind of the price per lead and what we've done and things like that. So it's really nice. This kind of shows you what's working, what's not working. Yeah, so then this is the URL. I guess I'll send this to you if you guys are interested, but
perfect.
That's all I've got today. So I think we might have a little time for questions.
I'm just going to ask you, hey, Jordan, do we have the capability of having people ask questions, or do they have to put in the chat box?
They can just put it in the chat box and we can read it.
Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, go ahead and put it in the chat box down below, and we'll have Wendy answer those questions. So the first thing, I know what I had heard you before, and I know that in Austin, you have a lot of people that are migrating into Austin, okay? And in Utah, we have that same thing. We have a lot of people coming from, California and all these different states. Mm-hmm. How are you guys, or are you marketing to certain areas to go after those people who are coming into Austin?
Well, we get a lot of our relocation from agent to agent referral. Okay. So for instance, I do webinars for the greater Utah region during pandemics in the hopes of getting referrals from Utah someday.
Sure.
Yeah. And so we do a lot of stuff like that. We have a whole marketing campaign around agent to agent referrals. And the best thing that you guys can do is now through Command, you can see where everyone is moving from, right? So where they're moving from going to Utah, and you can target those areas and really connect with agents in those areas. When I first started, that's what I did, except I didn't have Command. I had to do it the hard way. I had to go to the Chamber of Commerce and figure out all that. And I just reached out to team leaders in those areas, and I said, hey, I'm just starting my business, and I'd love a top 10 list of your up-and-comers in your office. And that is literally how I started my agent-to-agent referral business back when nobody knew me. And then we've just built on that. And those first 2 years in the business, I was about 40% of my business.
Wow, that's awesome.
And it continues to be. I think at our peak, we made about $850,000 in commission checks from agent referrals.
Yeah, that's great.
Most people don't go after it. They just don't focus on it.
Right.
But it's an amazing opportunity. I mean, we have 180,000 agents worldwide now. And so, it's just like everything else, what you focus on.
Does it expand?
Yeah,
Whoa.
Really grows.
Hey, so why don't you tell us a little bit about your Empire Builder podcast?
Yes, so very exciting. It actually has a launch date now. So it will be launching the first week in May. And we've had to pivot a little bit because we recorded 11 episodes, but of course they didn't reference the global pandemic that was going on. And so we're actually doing a bunch of recording now, and we're going to do several episodes tomorrow. And
who's on it with you?
It's Via Williams, Sarah Reynolds, Seychelle Van Poel, and myself. And I think together it's, we represent just a lot of production. Especially Via and Sarah, not me, kind of like the low man on the totem pole. But I got an inside connection to KWU. So
you do?
Yeah.
That's a pretty powerful group there.
I had to sleep with the head of KWU to get it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just have to do things we don't really want to do.
Let's get out of your a little bit. Look, I'm blushing now.
Okay, so
Yeah,
what
so
is your
May
biggest?
3rd,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. Just launch this. Just keep your eye out for it.
Perfect. We'll be looking for it. So, what is your biggest challenge that you have in your role right now, and how are you going to overcome it?
Well, I would say right now it's really keeping a team of 16 together, many of whom are 1099 folks, some of them who are brand new to real estate and they're starting their career right now. And so, yeah, that's requiring a lot of my energy is thinking about what I want to say every single day, talking about mindset, talking about staying physically healthy, talking about what we can do to grow our business, and really just keeping everyone motivated to do the stuff every day. And it's just hard. You know, leadership is hard, as you know, and it's very rewarding, but it's also extremely hard because I'm also the wife of somebody who's working 12 hours a day now. I have 2 kids here. I'm the housekeeper. I'm the cook. I'm all the things. I have rental properties that I manage, and so it's just a lot.
I think you need to get a live-in nanny and cook. Talk to Jay.
Well, my kids are 14 and 15, so they probably don't need a nanny, but yeah.
Okay, so what book would you recommend right now, but it can't be one of your husbands or Keller Williams?
Well, I just read I'm reading Simon Sinek's Infinite Game right now. We just started that for book club, which is really great. And I think that it's very timely right now because it's really, we need to be thinking about our real estate business at the macro level. Like, why are we in real estate and what do we want to get out of our lives? And how can real estate help us get what we want out of our lives, right? This kind of, there's no end in sight. And then I just read a really good novel. So for those of you that like to read novels, it's called My Lovely Wife. And it's just a great distraction.
My wife loved Where the Crawdads Sing.
Oh yeah, that's a great book. I love that.
Yeah, she loved that. Okay, I'm going to ask you a fun question, all right? If you were going to have pizza with 3 people that are dead or alive, who would they be?
Oh gosh. 3 people dead
It's
or
got to
alive.
be Detroit style pizza too.
Okay. So I would probably pick Oprah Winfrey, right? Because she's probably just going to ask great questions. So she's good to have at any party. Sarah Blakely, she's one of my heroes. She's the first self-made billionaire.
That's a Spanx lady, right?
She's a Spanx lady.
Okay.
And who would I pick for my third one? That's tough. Well, you know what? I'd probably invite my grandmother along. She's not with me anymore, but I miss her a lot. So.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Does then anybody have any other questions at all? Jordan, do we have any questions that came in?
I don't see any in the chat.
We just blew them away, Wendy.
Just lots
Great.
of comments about all your great content.
Great.
So, okay, I'll ask another question. Okay, so you probably know Gary Keller better than anybody. What would be something that no one knows?
I really don't, but
Well, I'm sure you. What would be something that no one would know
about Gary? That's a good one. Well, I think a lot of people know this, but it's kind of interesting. So if you go to KWRI, you have to go down in the basement where Gary's office is. Have you ever been in there?
I know this. I know what he does.
Yeah, so it's like really the basement. They call it the garden level, but it's really the basement, and it's like Fort Knox to get in. You have to use like eyeball security and everything, and then you go in, and it's just full of music paraphernalia. It's really cool. He has like a really huge amp collection. You know, he's a huge music fan. And actually something also really cool about Gary is that he just donated $50,000 last week to the health, the Austin Musicians Health Alliance for Austin Musicians. It's called HAM, which I just think is so amazing because of course there's all the musicians in Austin are out of work now. And he's in the middle of all this other stuff that he's doing, and he took the time to donate $50,000 to that. It's pretty spectacular. So
yeah, and the when they had the torn or the hurricane cleanup, and with the money for targets and all that, and he gave all that extra money to cover the agents were given a certain amount of money, and then he covered the amount that was over the top. I mean,
Yeah.
one of my favorite stories is he was down in the basement area, and he walked out of his office and he went to the bathroom, and there was a big group of Keller Williams agents that were down there. He didn't even look at them. He just walked straight to the bathroom and then straight back into his office. Never even looked at anybody.
Oh, that's Gary. He's not too social.
All right, so we had one other question. Do we have a question? I saw one pop up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's from Emerson Rudd. It says, I love your couples goal setting retreat. I love your couples goal setting tips. How are you renegotiating domestic roles, responsibilities, goals during the quarantine? Oh, this is a really good question. I think Jay and I could do like a podcast on it right now. So I would say that, yeah, it's been a struggle. Jay got the office, I got the rest of the house during the day. And so we had to kind of renegotiate our space. I'm actually in my kitchen, which is fine. And, I think just continuing to do that like morning routine together has been really powerful for us. And I think, honestly, for those people that are introverts, they're loving it. Like, I basically live with 3 introverts, and I am going crazy, and everybody else is having just a perfectly fine time. We're still doing our date night. So date night's on Wednesday. We're not going out. Typically what we do is we get takeout from, a local place, and we go sit on our deck and we make our kids make their own dinner. So just some of the rituals that have kind of kept us grounded as a couple, we're just continuing to do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's tough, especially, I'm glad I don't have like younger kids, because it's a lot right now.
Oh, so. Yeah. I bet you guys have some really great conversations also. I was reading the Bob Iger book, The Ride of a Lifetime, and he was talking about him and Steve Jobs walking down the beach, talking to each other. I was like, man, I'd love to be a fly on their shoulder listening to that conversation.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, we talk about business a lot. I mean, I feel lucky.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
Too much, but.
So one question, are you focused on any recruiting efforts at this time, or are you focused on maintenance and support of your current team members? Mm-hmm. What recruiting opportunities do you see in this unique market?
Well, I'm just going to be really honest. I know that I should be thinking about recruiting, and I know it's a great opportunity to scoop up talented people, because there's a lot of people that are unemployed right now. But to be honest, I'm really not. I mean, that's just me being super honest. Is right. Intellectually, I know I should do it, but just energy-wise, I'm not quite there. We do have 2 pretty new agents on our team that we just hired. And in fact, we have one that started like 2 weeks ago, and I feel lucky. I keep telling her, you're lucky. You get to start during this, and there's nowhere else to go but up, and you're going to learn amazing habits. I mean, I think it's a good opportunity to recruit. So I'm really thinking about who are the people out there, who are my friends that are not with Keller Williams. I can invite them to that Facebook group, but honestly, hardcore recruiting, I just am not there.
Yeah, and I can tell you this, as a professional recruiter myself, okay, yeah. Right now is it's relationship building. Identify the people that you want in your world, get a game plan around how you're going to attack them. Like who's that missing person in your life and in your world? Who do you need? Identify them. Like, what's the pay you want to pay them? What's the job roles? What are they looking for? And then find those people and just get in a relationship with them, because right now it's a challenging time to, especially for real estate agents wanting to move right now. We are the greatest real estate company in the country, without a doubt. We have more value, and there's not even anybody close. But if you're talking about real estate agents who are looking to hire, that's really what I would do. Is I would fill out a missing persons report, figure out who's missing in your world, what does it look like, how much money do you want to pay them, and once you know that, and what's your value, like what's your value you're going to bring to these people, so you can hire to that and find the person that you want to have. Now is a great time to build that out.
Yeah, I think so too. Because, and then, when the quarantine's kind of lifted, there still will be people who are out of work. And then probably it's a better time to kind of pivot and start thinking about that as you get more business. So.
Okay, one more question. What do you feel is your most important morning thing you do?
For me, it's definitely exercise. I mean, for me, it's the number one thing, and it helps my mood. It helps me just a strong person. We do a lot of weightlifting, and I've asked my trainer to just, if she can just do a little bit more cardio, because it's just better for your mood. And yeah, without that, I couldn't do what I do, honestly.
Cool. Hey, so how can people like reach you and get a hold of you?
Yeah, well, I'm all over social media. So I spend way too much time on Facebook. You can send me a direct message on Instagram, Wendy Papasan. I have a really weird name. I'm the only person that has named my name. So I'm pretty easy to Google and find on Kelly and all that kind of stuff. Our website's papasanproperties.com. And yeah, I'd love to hear from y'all.
Yeah, so if anybody needs anybody in Austin, Texas, or the surrounding areas, you know, you've got a person here that gave up her time to come in and during these challenging times for all of us. And if you guys liked it in the chat box, put some thumbs up in there and just let everybody know how much you appreciated her. All right, Wendy, thank you so much.
Guys. It was a lot of fun.
All right, we'll touch base soon.
Stay strong out there.
Okay, bye.